Picture yourself walking through the Mauritshuis in The Hague on a quiet afternoon. The galleries are almost empty, the lights soft, and then you turn a corner, and there she is. A girl in an exotic turban, her skin luminous, her lips slightly parted, as if she's just about to speak, and those eyes, dark, liquid, impossibly alive, looking straight at you. Time stops. You feel caught, almost guilty, as though you've interrupted a private moment. This is Johannes Vermeer's girl, with a pearl earring painted around 1665, and for more than 3 centuries, people have been trying to work out exactly what she's thinking. She has been called the Mona Lisa of the North, and the nickname is perfect. Like Leonardo's Lisa, she gives nothing away and everything at once. But where the Mona Lisa smiles with the faintest, most knowing curve of the mouth, Vermeer's girl is more direct, more intimate. She turns her head over her shoulder, catches your eye, and holds it. There's no landscape behind her, no elaborate dress, no clue to who she is or where she is. Just darkness, a blue and yellow turban, and that single, enormous pearl glowing at her ear. Everything else is face and gaze. Let's start with the obvious question everyone asks. Who was she? The answer is that we don't know and we never will. Vermeer left no letters, no diary, no helpful inscriptions on the back of his paintings. After his death in 1675, his wife Katharina catalogued his works for the creditors who were circling the family like wolves, and this one she simply called The Head of a Girl in the Turkish manner. That's it. No name, no date, no story. For a long time it was assumed she was one of his daughters. He had 11 surviving children after all, but look closely. She's too knowing, too sensual for a child. Some have suggested she was his maid, the family servant who appears in other paintings. Tracy Chevalier's novel turned her into Greet, the wide-eyed kitchen girl who becomes the artist's secret muse. It's a beautiful fiction, and the Scarlett Johansson film made it even more irresistible, but there's no evidence for it. The latest theory, and probably the most convincing, is that she isn't a portrait at all in the usual sense. She's what the Dutch called a tronie, an invented head, a study of an exotic type or an expression. Rembrandt painted dozens of them. Old men in turbans, laughing soldiers, women in fantastic costumes. They weren't meant to represent real people. They were exercises in light, in paint, in emotion. Vermeer took the idea and pushed it to the edge of impossibility. His girl feels real because she is painted with a kind of breathless realism, but she is also a fantasy, a girl from nowhere, wearing clothes that don't quite belong to any one place or time. That turban, for instance. The fabric is extraordinary, bright lemon yellow with an ultramarine blue fold falling like liquid silk. The white underpart flares out like a flame. No Dutch girl in Delft wore anything like it in 1665. It's an imagined Orientalist confection, a bit of theatrical costume Vermeer probably had lying around the studio. And the pearl, it's absurdly large, bigger than any pearl that ever existed. It's not a pearl at all, really. It's 2 strokes of white paint and a highlight, catching a light that seems to come from inside the painting itself. Which brings us to the heart of the mystery, the way Vermeer paints light. He doesn't show us where it comes from. There's no window, no candle, no obvious source. Yet every surface glows. The girl's skin is made of the tenderest pinks and creams, tiny dots of colour laid side by side, so that from a distance they melt into flesh, more convincing than flesh. Look at the corner of her eye, that moist glint. Look at the faint shadow under her lower lip. These are passages of painting so delicate that restorers hold their breath when they go near them. People sometimes say Vermeer used a camera obscura, that little box with a lens that projects an image upside down onto a screen. There's evidence he might have. The proportions are oddly perfect. The highlights sometimes have that slightly blurred, optical quality. But even if he did, it only explains the accuracy. It doesn't explain the magic. A camera obscura can't tell you how to make a girl look as though she's breathing. And then there is the gaze. Why does it haunt us so much? Part of it is the turn of the head, 3/4, sudden, as if she's just noticed us looking. Part of it is the slight parting of the lips, the suggestion that a word is forming, but mostly it's the eyes themselves. They are dark, almost black, with no visible catchlight, which is strange because Vermeer usually places a tiny white dot to suggest reflection. Here, he withholds it. The result is that her eyes seem to drink the light rather than reflect it. You look into them and they pull you in, like deep water. In the 19th century, when the painting first became famous, a French critic wrote that she looked at you with the eyes of a woman who has just woken up beside you. It's an outrageous thing to say about a picture, but you understand what he meant. There is something shockingly intimate about her. She isn't posing for the ages like a duchess in a Van Dyck. She is simply there, in the moment, aware of being looked at and, this is the crucial bit, returning the look. Vermeer painted her when he was about 33, at the height of his powers, and in the middle of the most productive few years of his life. He made only about 35 paintings that we're sure about, and most of them are quiet domestic scenes, women reading letters, pouring milk, playing music. This one is different. It has no story, no moral, no obvious meaning. It is pure presence. After Vermeer died, bankrupt and forgotten, his paintings were sold off for pennies. This one disappeared for 2 centuries. It turned up again in 1881 at a sale in The Hague, filthy and overpainted, attributed to unknown Dutch school. A rich collector named Arnoldus de Tombe bought it for 2 guilders and 30 cents, about the price of a couple of beers. When he died, he left it to the Mauritshuis, and only then, after cleaning, did the world realize what it had. Today, millions of people file past her every year. She has become one of the most reproduced images in the world, on bags, umbrellas, fridge magnets, you name it. And yet, strangely, the more famous she becomes, the more mysterious she remains. Every time you think you've pinned her down, maid, daughter, fantasy, allegory, she slips away again. I think that's why we keep coming back. In a noisy world full of explanation and noise, she offers silence and a question. Who are you? Why are you looking at me? What do you see? And 360 years later, we still don't have an answer. We only know that when she looks at us, something in us looks back, recognizes itself, and is quietly changed.